Right, so we've got Manjaro installed on our computers and it needs to be updated. Now, the updates are not done like you'd usually be used to on Windows, where it will just do the core operating system, nothing else. With Manjaro and other Linux distros, everything gets updated. All the programs you've got installed get updated. So you do that in one pass. When it says you have updates, it could be for anything, for any application you have running in your system. The first thing you need to notice is down here in the left-hand corner of the screen, we've got all our bits and pieces here. Now, this little icon with an arrow on it, if you've got a red dot to the side of it, like I have, you've got updates. Hover your mouse over it, and it will show you how many updates you've got. Now, I've got 9. So what you need to do is just single-click on that little circle with the arrow in it, wait a few moments, okay, and we'll have our updates window appear. Let's make that bigger. You can see what's going on. So I've got a few updates that need doing, 9 of them, Firefox mainly, and Thunderbird. So what we do here is we click on apply. Once we're happy that those are ones we want to update. If there's things there that you don't want to update, simply remove the tick from them, yeah, like so. So it's there. But otherwise, keep them in there, hit apply. It'll ask for your password. This is the same password you use to log in, as in the same password you use to open your computer. So when you open your computer and it says your name and then a password, this is the password you put in here. Don't put in your email password, don't put in any other password, just the password you use to log in. Okay, so let's put that in. And it will now check for dependencies. This one is asking me what version of OpenJDK I want. Now, this is the Java packages. These are libraries that run in the background for things. I'm just going to stick with standard extra. Number 18, that'll do me. There are some certain use cases where you need a downgraded version, but for this version, we're using just the latest one. Okay, and again, we're going to use the latest one. So as we can see, checking for inner conflicts, and then it's going to say it's got to build this, and it's also got to do this. It's got to install all of these. So 136 different applications to install to get this to run. Okay, 326 megabytes, and we just now hit apply. That will now apply the update. And you can see it's downloading here. Now if you want to see what's going on, there's a little arrow down here in the left corner. So click once on that, and it will show you whatever it's doing. So at the moment it's downloading. We've got finished, started, finished, started, finished, started. So it's downloading Thunderbird now for us. So when it's finished doing that, we'll see what else we've got. Don't think this is going to take too long. We've got 2 minutes remaining. The best thing first is to pause this recording, and I'll come back when it's all done. Okay, so Manjaro has been updated and it's prompted us to restart, so we've done that. Now we're going to restart into Manjaro and we're going to see what we've got. There's probably going to be a couple of other things to do to get it fully updated, but as soon as we've done that, everything is going to work fine. And all our programs and everything we want to use will be the latest versions. So here we are at the login screen. When we start up, we should have our usual desktop, and there's probably going to be a couple of notifications. I think one about the kernel, and maybe we'll need some language packs. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, we've started up and it's told us there's one package that needs installing. Well, let's have a look, see what that is. Now, we've just already updated. It's quite possible that another update has either come down the line while we were restarting, or it's just failed to install. Either way, we can either try it again, or we can carry on where we were. It's only one update. We can do it at a later date. It's in the AUR, which means it may well have to compile it, which means it could take a long time. There's no harm in leaving it, as long as it hasn't broken anything. We should now go down to the little menu in the corner, and system settings is what we need. So we'll wait for that to load. And we're going to look at the kernel and the language settings. Right, here we are. Kernel. Let's have a look at that. It's saying there's a new one available. Right. So we're running this one, and it's now unsupported. We should update to a newer version, so that might be why that other thing refused to install. So let's jump to the next kernel up. I mean, you can just continue to use the LTS, but I'd rather use the latest kernel going. So that's needed. That's the same password you use to log in. That's the password you use to open up your computer, not your email password, not any other passwords you may be using for other things. It's just the one you use for this computer. So that's now installing the new kernel. You can see how far it's getting. It's retrieving the packages at the moment. 183 megabytes to download. So while that's installing, we'll have a quick break and we'll come back when that's done. And then we should reboot again. So our kernel has been updated and it looks like we've got a couple of warnings, but nothing that's going to stop it from working. So we go out of there and we come over to here where we've got this unsupported one. We want to get rid of this, and we should have remove here. We're not getting any options on this. So it looks like we're going to have to restart before we can remove this. Let's close that out. Although, let's check the language packs before we do anything else, because we're going to have to restart. We haven't got any language packs to install. Those are the ones that install. It looks like they're all updated. So let's quit out of that, and let's restart. So, once this is restarted, we need to get into our kernels again in the settings. So we need to open settings, go to kernels, and then we need to remove the old kernel that is now unsupported. So we're going to leave it there and come back in a moment when it's booted up. The computer's been restarted, and now we've got to go back into our settings. So we open up settings, and we're presented with this again, and we go back into the kernel. Now the kernel, as you can see, is now running on the latest one. We've got this unsupported one in here, and we want to remove that to save some space, because they are quite large, and after a while, once you've had a few of these updates, they tend to gum up your system. So you want to get rid of them. So you put your password in, show the details, it should be removing it. So it's removing that one, 517, which is no longer needed. So that's nearly done. So that's all done. So we no longer have that in there, which is good. So we can close that out. We don't need to restart anymore. And the updates are finished. I'm going to shut the machine down, and that's all for this part.